our second part of our cuffing season. Thank you guys. Last month's turnoff was really good. So I want to say good morning to Facebook as well as Instagram this morning. We are live on both Instagram and Facebook. I want to say thank you guys for the continued support. We are a ministry. We're advancing. We're doing mighty good things. So, and we're taking advancement in so many things. So I have so many things to tell you guys that 2020 is definitely, I truly believe, will be our year. We are making some progress and getting some things booked. But thank you for tuning in for my listeners. Today I am super, I'm hot. But I am super excited because I got my squad. I got all my peeps. These are my besties, my peeps, my road dogs, my accountability partners, my ride or die, we're alive. So I'm truly excited. This has been something that I desired for so long, and it finally came to pass. Our schedules were finally free enough that everybody can be a part. So I'm not going to keep talking too much longer. But before I introduce everybody, I want to say me and my husband, Relationship Matters Ministries, we are, this is my husband if you don't know. We are, clear. If you know, then you don't know. But I just want to say, Allison Treasure Box, we are doing a phenomenal thing. We are, it's a toy drive. We're raising money and toys for a family in need for this holiday season. It has already surpassed what I thought we were capable of doing. So I want to say thank you guys for donating the toys. Our official drop-off location is International Christian High School. That's at 5500 Table Road. If you do not prefer to go out and get a toy, you're more than welcome to donate via our website, Cash App, PayPal, whatever. You just have to go through the website to do that. All money will be used towards toys, as well as, because we're raising so much, we can actually do a nice, decent meal for a family as well for the toy drive. So not only are we blessing people with families with toys for the children, we're also blessing a meal. So God is good. So I want to say thank you guys for your support. We still have 30 days left of that. If you know a family in need, please look out for the website and information, more information to come via our social sites on how to submit a family. Because we did this fantastic thing, now we need people to give to. So I know somebody's out there that's in need. If you are taking custody and you have custody of a child that lost their parents due to death, please submit this family. They need help. Me and my husband went through this last year where the transition, we know for ourselves, is very hard. So we want to be an aid to that transition, just to help it just a little bit, make the holiday seasons a little bit better and brighter for the family. But God is good. We're live and I'm so excited. I'm so pretty excited. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I want to introduce. I can't dance. Well, you can't. Aren't you over the dance ministry? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, I was trying, I can't, no, see? Now, if you ask me to praise dance, yes. All that hip hop, you like, no. But anyway, I want to introduce somebody that's always been our biggest support. He's part of the squad, but he's never available. Like, he is so busy, he gets on my last nerves. I'm like, come on, bless me with your presence. Minister God, wisdom, yes. So I'm so excited he's here. He showed up, we had to roll out the red carpet.
Wait. Let me jump in on this one.
Okay.
Now we have a standing joke, and I want to say this now, to all the ultra saved folks, it is just a joke.
Just a joke, right?
But Minister Donna is affectionately known as Jesus. AKA Hosanna. AKA Emmanuel. God in the flesh. Although, the Bible says that Jesus wasn't something great to look at, but we know that this man is something great to look at. From the locks, and it's like almost like if Jesus, if somebody was the perfect embodiment of Jesus. But like I said, to the Ultra Stage folks,
have that picture.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you know. But like I said, to the Ultra Stage folks, it's just a standing joke with us.
Yes.
We do not worship Donald. We don't praise Donald. We
That's right.
praise Jesus, the one
That's
true Savior.
I assure you, with the squad, he's at the bottom.
That's true. Very true.
At the bottom. Yeah, I'm so excited. Mr. Donald is here. My sister is here. She's also the project manager. The host, the raw and real. Sorry. We call her Peter. And then we got Minister Nicole, my bestie. Oh God.
Guest editor and panelist.
Yeah, she's our guest editor. I mean, a guest panelist, and then she's our editor.
I'm sorry.
So she does a lot of this stuff behind the scenes. She helps my writing skills to look superb, because they're not always superb.
I try.
So she does a phenomenal job. And then there's my husband, my lover, my friend. He's my biggest support as well. He's the co-founder. So we do a lot of work behind the scenes, and woo. Okay, I'm hot. Let's go. So thank you guys again for tuning in. So we wanted to I'm really hot. We wanted to really.
I'm hot too. I'm hot.
Okay,
It's not.
Literally. So we really wanted to cuffing season last month. The topic cuffing season, soul ties, was extremely popular. It was extremely. The outreach and the outpouring of feedback that we received was totally and completely unexpected, but in the same token expected because we did our due diligence. So we decided to carry that on for another month because it was so raw and so real, and we had so many people ask questions and get help, and it was just a lot. So we decided to do a second part, and this time we wanted to include our men, which is why they're here. Yay! So it's completely awesome to hear what they have to say versus the man's perspective biblically about cuffing season, and then some of the things they might want to share as their testimony or anything that they might have went through via cuffing and soul ties and different other things. So let's get this thing started. Ms. Nicole, you like that? My phone rings. Like, really? Nobody calls my phone. Okay, but go ahead.
That's never happened before. Hey, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to do a brief recap of the cuffing season lesson that I did last month, which was phenomenal. And I'm going to go through stuff kind of quick, but that's so you can look at the video from last time,
That's awesome.
so that you can get all the in-depth information. So when we talk about cuffing season, just real quick, what is cuffing season? Cuffing season is a real thing. I had somebody ask me yesterday. They were like, is that really a thing? Yes, it's a real thing.
Yes, it's a real thing.
It's usually from October to March. It's when people become extremely motivated to get coupled up because it's the cooler months of the year and the temperature drops, so the number of couples actually rises. This is statistically true. It happens. So one of the main points that we drove home with the discussion last time is that one of the reasons that people get into these cycles of cuffing season is because they have these patterns in their lives, and that can be heavily attributed to having soul ties with people. So that's why we went into the discussion about what are soul ties. So a soul tie is a bond that forms between two people through time and vulnerability. is a bond that is formed between two people through time and vulnerability. It is not just limited to romantic relationships. Soul ties can be, they can be healthy and they can be unhealthy. So let's go ahead and go there first. They can be between friends, family, co-workers, and people, and romantic relationships. But it expands all types of relationships. So anybody that you're spending a quality amount of time with, or that you're becoming vulnerable with, you can end up having a soul tie with them. We talked about healthy biblical examples. I'm going to go through 3 really quickly. The first was Jonathan and David. That is our most key go-to when we talk about soul ties. They had a very healthy bond and friendship, and the scripture actually says that their souls were knit together.
Yes.
So even when we talked about the description, well, let me not get ahead of myself. So Jonathan and David, their friendship was so heavy that Jonathan was helping David remain hidden while his father was trying to kill him. So his relationship with Jonathan's relationship with David superseded even his relationship with his father. And then the next example we have is Ruth and Naomi. Sorry, my eyes itching. That was not good for camera. Ruth and Naomi had a mother-daughter bond. Ruth was the mother. No. Naomi was the mother. I'm getting tongue-tied because I'm nervous. And Naomi was the mother. Ruth is the daughter-in-law. And their bond happened after Naomi's sons passed away. And Naomi told Ruth and her other daughter-in-law, go back to your homelands. And Ruth was like, nah, I'm with you until the end. So wherever you go, I'm going, because your people are now my people. So that shows their bond. And then the third example I have is Jesus and John the beloved. Even though Jesus had the whole all 12 disciples, there were groups within the 12 that were kind of segmented that mirrored his relationships with them. So he had all 12 together as one group, which he knew them all individually. But then he had the 3 that he took with him for specific tasks. So that was James, John, and Peter. And then when it came to his closest relationship, it was with John the beloved, because he said that he was closest to his heart. And that's also who he entrusted his mother to when he was dying on the cross. So those are examples of healthy relationships. Take time, read through your word, soak all those up so you can get more information about those relationships. And it just shows you how, just the importance of relationships and the different types. So none of these were romantic relationships. They were all friendship, brotherly, mother-daughter, brother-brother, just friendship and family type relationships. And then my biggest example for unhealthy relationships from the Bible is Samson and Delilah. And that's found in Judges, the 16th chapter. Read it, it's a lot. It's so much. Samson was a mess. And their tie was very unhealthy. And he ended up, giving up the secrets of his life and why it wasn't really his strength did not lie in his hair. His strength was lied in him adhering to the vow that he made, the Nazirite vow. And he had already been at the end of the line. There's 6 or 7 different things that you're supposed to do as part of the Nazirite law. And he already violated all of them except for this last one with cutting his hair. So that was the final straw, and that's why he lost his strength. But just the nature of their relationship, she wouldn't have been able to get that information if they weren't tied together. So those are the examples of unhealthy relationships. So just to bring it in, I feel like I'm talking a lot and nobody's saying nothing. Okay. To bring it into a more practical way, so I have my little props. So sometimes when we think about cuffing, we think about handcuffs that are just, this. And the unfortunate thing about a soul tie is that it's more than just you just having your hands binded together or your arm binded with one other person, because that's pretty easy to break out of. But when a soul tie actually forms, it's more intricate. So it's more like an interweaving and an interlocking. So if you say that, can you want the red side? Like that side is one person, and this is the other person. And then each of these little strings represent the characteristics and the different parts of your personality and the things that make up who you are. So your integrity and your ability to different talents and gifts and or give me some examples. Just pieces of your character and things that make up who you are. Yeah, love. But even if you're struggling with something, so like depression and anxiety, all of these addictions, yes, all of those things are these little pieces. So when you come together with someone and you begin to form the soul tie, not only are you just coming together like joining, but you're tying all of that together. So each piece, each piece becomes knotted together, and it becomes hard to distinguish some pieces from the other because everything's getting intertwined and entangled together, and it's all becoming one. And right now I can't tie a knot, but it all comes together, and it's extremely because you're so much one. It's hard or difficult to pull that apart. You can't just take it off like these cuffs. You have to do a lot more to become untangled. And even this morning when I was taking this loose, some of the little pieces fell off, and that happens sometimes when we join our souls with somebody else, and there's pieces of us that we tend to lose and that tend to fall away. I might have been a very outgoing person, but now that I became tied with this other person and they're really controlling, then I'm losing the piece of me that's outgoing, and now I'm becoming extra introverted and quiet, and that's not really originally part of who I am. But the great thing about God is that He's able to completely take this apart and make us new again, and even those pieces that fell away, He can put them back in there and make them even more magnified than they were before. So that's that part of it. And then, and this is the other side of what a healthy soul tie looks like. So when you're joined with not just one other person, but you're also joined with Jesus, and He becomes the glue that binds you, all three of you together, and it's not a jumbled mess like this soul tie, but now that relationship is healthy and strong, and it has the ability to grow and move, and it can be maneuvered and just expand, and it doesn't have to be bound up, but there's freedom when you have Christ at the center of your relationships. So that's the point of that. Oh, the one scripture, Ecclesiastes 4:12, which talks about a threefold cord is not easily broken. So that's like just the example that you have. When you're in a relationship with someone, Christ should always be at the center of whatever that relationship is, because with the three of you together, it cannot be easily broken.
Amen.
That was awesome. That was definitely awesome. Great reminder.
Yes.
Great reminder.
Do I need to go over anything else? Oh, breaking soul ties. How about that? Let's say that real quick. So one of the big things that we talked about last time is that everyone goes through their process. So I guess initially when you're getting to the place where you're like, God, I need to break this soul tie. It's unhealthy, and I just need to detach myself from this person. So the first step is acknowledgement. The second step is actually going to God and being vulnerable and being open and honest with Him. Because sometimes we think that God already knows, so I don't really have to say it out of my mouth, but He wants you to confess that thing. That's part of being intimate with the Lord. It's intimacy. So you want to be completely open and honest with Him about where you are, about what you're going through, about the tie that you have with this person. And then honest about the struggle with it. So I have a little prayer that I shared last time, and I'll say that really quickly. But then I think that beyond the prayer, we have to expand it a little bit. So I think sometimes we get stuck in, this is the format, this is what I need to do. Let me be really religious about sticking to just this one prayer. And I'm going to pray this one prayer every day until it breaks. And I ain't changing nothing else. Right. But I'm going to stay in the same patterns, the same cycles, but I'm just going to say this one prayer and we're going to be good. No, you have to do the work. So you say the prayer the one time, but let that be a starting point, and then expand from that point. So even as after you pray this prayer, okay, God, now I prayed this prayer. As I'm even receiving, well, let me do the prayer first. So the prayer is, I break all soul ties with, and you say the person's name, and I cut off all influence from them. But before you even get to the prayer and do that part, you need to cut off all influence from them. So if you still got their number in your phone, if you still following them on the gram, if you still friends with their friends, but you know you ain't really friends with their friends, you just friends with their friends so you can watch and see what they're doing and what's going on with them. You need to cut that out too. There might be items that you have of theirs that you need to discard. Like all of that is part of the process, the purging process, so that you can remain free after you break the soul tie. So keeping all that in mind. And then I send back to them all that is theirs, washed in the blood of Jesus. Because that's important, because only his blood can wash you clean. And then I reclaim all that is mine, washed in the blood of Jesus. And then at the end of that, Jesus, what am I receiving back? Because everything doesn't come back in the same condition as when it left. So you want to ask God, what am I receiving back? And then like I'm saying, like I mentioned before, to expand on that, all right, God, now that I've said this prayer, I need you to help me to start making the moves necessary for me to be able to remain free, to remain unbonded by this soul tie. So show me the patterns, because I don't know what they are. Show me the cycles, because I don't know what they are. Give me strategies so that if it means that I can't go to this place and that place now, show me what to do. And I want to be completely surrendered unto you even in this process. And that's how you begin to unravel yourself. I like that word. Unravel yourself from the soul tie that you were previously bonded to.
That's good.
Anybody else want to say anything about that? No.
No, as far as I think just to say more about the prayer is, as far as the prayer is, we have to continually speak over ourselves in this process, so that we are made aware of what we're doing. Because sometimes if you say it to yourself, or you're praying this and then you get it, it's just like you take the steps to actually get it, and then when you get it, then you're like, okay, then I'm going to make the sound effort to actually get out of it now and not to have to go back. I think the biggest thing with soul ties is complete deception. We think we got a hold of it. We think we know everything. We think, I will never fall for this again, or this person ain't this person. It's our biggest downfall is deception, and we really need to really just seek God's face on wisdom on how to not be fooled. Right. The thing that I wanted to say the most is the cycles that you go through. If it's a repeated cycle, it's you are the person that's allowing the cycle. You have to break the cycle. It's never anybody else. It's absolutely you.
Yeah.
It's absolutely you. So you have to take accountability for yourself to get out of the cycle. And how you get out of those cycles is simply by being aware that you're in a cycle and then taking the steps that you need to get out of the cycle. Everybody's step is different. Everybody's process is different. But the goal should be to get out. Yeah. I can give you, some foundational things to get out. But however, it's up to you to do the work, to get out. So if you say that you're not in a soul tie, and that person's not this or that, check yourself. Immediately check yourself, and then search your heart, and do a true search, because you could very well be deceiving yourself.
Just to stop you right there, just gotta acknowledge some stuff on Facebook. So we have Cherie Tillman that's online. I want to say hi to you. Sandra is online. Bonnie is online. She actually said hi, everyone.
Hey, Bonnie.
One of our students is online, Jason Bowman.
Hey, Jason.
He's such a sweet kid. Bonnie Green, Erica Wharton, Joanne Devine, Michelle Price. These are some people that I can actually see. I know it's way more that is actually tuning in. Then we have Miss Michelle Price. She actually asked if we could post this prayer later.
Yes.
Absolutely. On Instagram and on Facebook. We'll definitely post again. We did post it last month, but we will definitely repost it and circulate throughout the week.
Yes.
So you have it. So I suggest when we post it, I encourage you to save it to your phone And, but you can always revisit the sites just to double check it. But we're done with that for now. So,
So, I want to get the guys' perspective.
I know.
Like, y'all here for a reason.
Right.
Duh.
That's what I was trying to hurry up.
I have a question though, and maybe you could go for the guys. And someone actually asked me this question over the month concerning the soul tie. Because we're talking about, when we talk about a soul tie, we always talk about dual. Both people having one. Could one have a soul tie with an individual and the other do not?
Yes.
Can we talk about that and explain that? Maybe you guys have had past relationships where there was a soul tie on her end or his end, but not on your end or anything like that. So we can jump into that because somebody was really
So, are
interested.
you referring to like stalker, that type?
I mean, just because you have a soul tie with somebody doesn't necessarily mean that they're stalking you.
Right.
But there are signs to show that this person can't let go because there is something. So Nicole instantly answered the question. Yes, one person can have the soul tie without the other one being. And even we talked about male and female relationship. Men and men, and not saying that they're gay, but two guys can have a soul tie and two women, and it could not be romantic or sexual at all. It could just solely be the dependency upon, the individual. So definitely we have the guys here, and I think people want to hear more from the guys about it. So come on, let's get it.
Let's go.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, to answer that question, yes, I've experienced that, and I'm not gonna go into too much detail because I wanted to go piggyback. Two things that my wife said was accountability, which is accountability. A lot of people this day and age do not want to take accountability for their own actions, and that is one of the things that, as a person, like when you start to grow and mature, accountability is one of the first things on the forefront that you must begin to take for yourself. You got to be able to look at your own actions, your own deeds. You got to be able to look at you and say, "Look, I did that. It wasn't the other individual. I did that. I messed that up. You know what I mean? Let me go back and look at myself."
Or I allowed that.
Yeah, or I allowed that. Yes, thank you. Or I allowed that. So accountability is something that I'm really dealing with. I'm getting better at it because, like I said, I don't want to have Adam syndrome where I'm blaming everybody else.
That was good.
Yeah, I call it the Adam syndrome. I joke with other people like when my other homies be like, well, just say like they blaming their wife or something. I'm like, oh, you got the Adam syndrome, huh? You blaming her? And they be like, no, but I'm like, I'm joking, but that was a very real thing, and we do have the biblical examples for that in Genesis. But accountability is something that's really not talked about too much because I don't want to say it's a taboo subject because it's not. But accountability is not something that is taught the way that it needs to be taught.
Yeah.
Like I said, taking a look at yourself is one of the first things that you need to do to acknowledge that, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
I need to get better.
Right.
So accountability is definitely a must, especially when we're talking in the sense of soul ties. You got to take accountability, say, hey, like Nicole said, I allowed that, I did that, you know what I mean? I went into this, you know what I'm saying? And so now, even accountability will say, hey, well, let me get out of this and then let me turn around and apologize.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's my thing. Accountability is something that I hammer. And to people that know and the people that are around me, squad, for example, you know what I'm saying? We all are accountable to each other, you know what I'm saying? And, if we say something that's wrong, the first thing we say, hey, I was wrong about that, you know what I'm saying? So, let's not take accountability for granted because, like I said, it's a lot of growth and maturity in accountability itself. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let it.
Well, I do agree with accountability. It's good to be humble and it's good to have accountability for your actions. Like in the Bible, what David said, he said, create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit. We want to be able to have that newness, but we also, exactly as what Minister Nicole was talking about, I want to touch base on that as well. Being accountable and also like when we're accountable, we take in the responsibility for our actions, but it has to be a process. It has to be able to we have to continuously put forth the effort in it. Because sometimes when we delete that number, sometimes we got that urge in our spirit to kind of go back to where God is trying to deliver us from.
Yes.
So we got to be able to take accountability and be able to stay in that lane. Because sometimes it's easy for us as this flesh, because, oh, this person was this, that, and that, and that. You know, we have sometimes flashbacks in our minds. And we got to be able to renew our minds. We got to be able to remain steadfast in what we're trying to break. Because it's like what they say about it, like a dog going back to his own vomit. Why go back to what God is trying to bring you from?
Yeah.
So we have to be accountable for our actions, especially with soul ties. Because, I mean, even in my past, I always had that itch to go back. I say I'm done, but I'm not really done.
Yeah.
So it has to be something that we have to take accountability for, and especially, you know, in this day and time with a lot of things going on with diseases and everything, we have to be able to remain accountable for our actions.
And I think a lot of things, I don't want to say a lot, I can't talk today. Accountability is hurtful because it shines a light on you.
Right.
I saw this quote one day. It says that we are a mess. You know, we search for God because we're messy, we're sloppy, we're imperfect. And then when we finally meet him, we pretend as though we're perfect.
Right.
That's the complete opposite of what we should do. We should always remain able to say that I'm an imperfect being,
Yes.
and that God is constantly working on me.
Yes.
But accountability, going back to accountability, what it is that it shines a light on you, which hurts, but then yet it's a freeing process.
Right.
Because when you are knowledge empowered by what you know, then you have enough information to move forward with that information. There's nothing worse than taking a test or having to advance in something and you know nothing about it. It's you know, blocks you up, it binds you up, you're like, ah! But then when you actually know and you hold yourself accountable for your own actions and for your own doings and for things that said out your mouth, for people that you had connected with that you knew you were wrong in, when you put that light on yourself, the process of getting away from that does hurt. But in the same token, it's freeing because now I'm empowered to do better. And I don't think anybody in this world wants us to remain hurt or in bondage. I think everybody wants to be free, but a lot of people just don't know how to be. And I think that's where the church, we have a tendency to forget that there's a process of accepting Christ as our Lord and Savior to the ultimate goal of making it in heaven.
Right.
Like there's no, my path is different from your path. Yes, the goal is to make it to heaven. However, we got to work this thing out called life in the process in the meantime.
Right.
And we're going to have hiccups. We're going to have bumpy roads. We're going to have mountaintops. But rest assured that through it all, God has promised that he will never leave us or forsake us. So, anybody else?
I think one of the things.
Go ahead.
I think one of the things we have to get out of the mindset too, which is religion, that the whole process down here is to get to heaven. Once you accept him and you acknowledge that he's Lord, you stand your ticket. I think we have to understand that God wants us to live free down here on earth. So we growing up, I used to hear, oh, I'm just trying to get in, you know, and get into heaven. And then you want to try to be perfect and illuminate this personality like you're amazing. And when in fact inside you're literally dying inside because of so much. And I think with the soul tie, and even Stefan had an amazing point with accountability, and that's one of the things we did not touch on the last one that you brought to this one, so that's great. Even down to the accountability factor, we've even sprinkled religion on that because we've turned it into this thing in the church as if it's
God knows our hearts.
I'm so tired of that statement. God knows my heart. No, but I see your stank. So fix it. Like, fix it.
And we forget that he like really knows
your
our
heart.
He knows your heart.
So,
I mean, the Bible only says that your heart is deceitfully wicked.
Yeah.
So, but we're religious and leaders and have a tendency to always rest back on that. And that's, to me, is just simply passing the buck. Again, you did not take accountability of your actions or any soul tie or relationship that you got into. You pushed it off, made it religion, and then now we're going to stay at the altar all night. And you're going to get up and be the same exact way because you never really became vulnerable and really intimate with God. And then we have this one thing that people always think that God is just instant. No, you got to do the work. And it's not going to happen in a day. If you was with somebody for years or in a friendship for years, you're not going to get over them overnight. You may feel instantly free the next day, like, "Ooh, I'm free," or that one moment when you feel free, but then that's when the process really takes place.
You have to go through the unraveling.
You got to go through the unraveling. But that's all I wanted to add. So you go ahead with the accountability or whatever.
That's like what you was just saying. You know, we still stink because the stench is attractive. It still likes to draw because it's so attractive. It's still drawing me because they can't. It's like it's such sometimes with the flesh. It's a hard thing, but because some people may have dwelled in it for such a period of time, it's so attractive that it continuously pulls them in. And like you said, you have to take accountability for it because that stench can just have such an impact on you that even just the sight of it wants to draw you back in.
Right. Yeah.
So it's tough, but
especially around this time of the year, because the discussion and the focus was around this time of the year,
right.
where everybody getting booed up. You know what I'm saying? Because you want a warm body with you for the winter because it's cold outside, so you want to come home with something warm. Let's just keep it on. I want to come home. I had something warm, but.
Wanting to come home or lay up with somebody warm in cuffing season, and we forget the other piece of it. Who am I bringing to family dinner?
Right.
I'm tired of the questions because I show up single again.
Right.
And that's that piece too. And it cracks me up when I see on Facebook the little things about rent a boyfriend. I think it's hysterical because sometimes family will put that pressure on you when you're single or even married and separated, of trying to put it back together. You know, if you're going through divorce, or even if you're single, trying to put it back together because they not knowing they think it's best for you, but in the same token, it's hurting you. Yeah. And I think that's the piece that too, when it comes to breaking soul ties, you have to be honest. You have to tell your family and your friends, no. Where I am right now, I'm good. Relieve your pressure. And I think sometimes with family, they think they mean good in some areas and they're actually hurting the situation more than helping. And then when you show up at Thanksgiving for the 10th year in a row, or you want your fourth boyfriend in 5 years to family dinner, now you're being talked about, or you keep coming up single at family dinner, now it's an issue. So I think too, as family, when they recognize that the person has a soul tie with somebody that they may believe is unhealthy, I think we need to let them off the hook in some areas. I think that we need, as family, not to drag them as if being single or being a divorce or being separated is a curse. Right. You know, I think we need to really show some kindness and some love when it comes to that area, and frankly, just mind your business. Right. if I don't want to talk about it and I'm not bringing it up, then you don't bring it up. just mind your business until I'm ready to put you in. Because one of the things family can do is, especially when you go through a breakup, my mother used to always say, if you're really not over it, don't get your family involved. Because you forgave this person, and your family still got a laundry list of crap of what they felt they did you wrong. Then when they show up or something going on, then now it's a problem. Right. So you just gotta kind of family, be nice.
And that's where we talked about healthy, the word just fell out of my head.
Healthy,
Boundaries.
Boundaries.
We talked about that last month, having healthy boundaries and establishing boundaries in within your relationships. And sometimes you have to do that with your family too. And then sometimes that means having hard conversations with them. Like, if every time I come around you, you're throwing this dart at me about why we're single, you don't want me to clap back, but you ain't never been married. Like,
Right.
or we all know that you and Uncle so-and-so, he been stepping out on you. Like, we can't, you don't want me to clap back with that.
Right.
So,
Right.
but that's not saying that you need to, like, throw those things in people's faces, because we don't want to do that. But what we do need to do is learn how to have those conversations, even when they're difficult, so that we can establish those boundaries. Okay, you know what? This has been happening now for several years, and it has to stop. I'm in a very healthy place, and when you do this, this is what it makes me feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So I need you to stop.
And stop. No, we're holding you accountable to stop it.
Mhm.
You know, do your part to stop.
Yeah.
You know, so that my process can be a little more bearable to go through.
Right, right,
you know, like I said, everybody's accountable for themselves.
Right.
And you know, sometimes we can hinder somebody's process as well as aid their process, and it's simply a matter of boundaries.
Right.
You know, and boundaries, this is what irks me with boundaries. You cannot set up boundaries. Put the camera close to my face. You cannot set up boundaries. You cannot set up boundaries
Right.
with people and not express it.
Right.
You cannot set up boundaries with certain people and then not express it. Because I don't know. And if I don't know, you can't not hold me accountable for what I don't know.
Right.
You can't keep being mad at me or walking in unforgiveness or constantly walking in hurt towards me, and I'm not aware of your boundaries.
Right.
So if you're setting up new boundaries with yourself and you're establishing a place of healing for yourself, the person is applicable, because everybody's not tangible. But if they're tangible and you're having a relationship with them, then tell them, this is a boundary that I'm setting up because I don't want to feel this way. And then vice versa. Because sometimes the person that you're setting the boundary up doesn't know. So if they're now aware of your boundary, then maybe there was something that you did that now they could place a boundary up. And that keeps a healthy relationship.
Right.
Gotta touch base with that, what you said. I think that's very interesting, because I feel as though when you're in a relationship with someone, you should be able to be open with them. Now, could it be that if a person doesn't express the boundaries, that they're not over what has happened to them in the past, and now they try to bring something in, they try to come into something new, not fully healed from the past. So my thing is, how should a person then be able to be more, how can I say this, be more open to the current person if they still is not fully recovered from what have they experienced in the past? Meaning that maybe the person that they've experienced previously wasn't possibly responsive to their boundaries, but now they're trying to come back into a person who's completely different from the last person, but they're not fully able to reciprocate to this person.
I think it's a process.
Yeah.
First of all, I think whenever you're coming out of an old relationship, I'm not an advocate of jumping into a new. I think that the world, I'm not about to sound religious, I think the world has did an amazing job of making us think that you can get over one by getting another.
Yeah, there's like a
And yeah, it's like a saying, I don't know what that saying is. And that is absolutely, positively the lie from the devil himself. Because, I'm so religious. Because all it does is compound more junk on top of stuff.
Exactly.
And one of my last relationship I was in, I actually charged him with a lot of crimes that he didn't even commit because I wasn't healed in some areas. So I'm accusing of cheating and stuff, and he like, yo, I was home asleep because of past stuff that I've dealt with in past relationships. But when I got into the relationship with him, I never was healed. Or I never was whole enough to say, you know what, I'm going to give such and such a fresh start. I'm going to give him that opportunity to get to know him. A lot of times now, and what we do is we just drug bad, and then here comes this tie thing then, because now I'm still got ties and stuff on from my old relationship, and now I'm
all tied in with this one.
Yeah, and then it all compounds, and it's just so much, and I never took the time out. I want us to get out, no matter what season, no matter what time of year it is. It's okay to be single.
Yes.
It is okay to say, I can't right now.
Right.
I'm doing me. And I've learned.
And actually work on you.
And that's right. Because a lot of people say I'm doing me, but they doing Tom and Billy and Barbara, however you swing.
You say black names though?
Oh, that name Shaniqua and Moshika. and Ray Ray. You know, and they not really doing it. A lot of times when people say, no, I'm just doing me, that's their calling card to do whatever they want to do and lay, put the wall up and lay whoever they want to do, and all you're doing is still compounding and never address the issue until one day you're sitting in a psych ward. Because that's exactly what happens. You're sitting in a psych ward, you don't understand why, or mental health, and I'm an advocate of taking care of your mental health, definitely, so I'm not saying don't go. I go. You have to go, and then you're in this chair talking about, how did I get here?
Right.
Why am I so depressed? Why am I suicidal? Why am I homicidal? Why am I have anxiety? Why do I like cake and I never liked cake? But it's like, why am I eating this? And that was never in my diet. But that's the intertwining, and then because you didn't take care of the last relationship, you're not healed, and now you become this ball of dark mess, and you're angry for no reason, and you're no good to not anybody else, and dang sure not yourself. So I think before we actually go into the new, we got to make sure we cleaned out the old. And it's okay. I used to get so antsy about my timeline. And I've gotten so much better with it. People's chiming in. I've gotten so much better with it because people stigmatize. First of all, girls grow up in their mind. I'm going to be married by 25. I have my first kid by 28. We'll buy our first home at 30. And then we'll have our boy first. Because that's what girls are trained to think growing up. That's why we play with doll babies and stuff. So when life doesn't begin to work out, now you start to set your watch to it. Because now I'm 30. I don't have kids. Or now I'm 30. And I got these 2 kids, and I just had to leave him. And I'm still unmarried. And this is my life. I'm 30. I have 2 kids. I had to leave him. Now I'm single, but the prophet said to me I would be married at a young age. Shut up. You see what I'm saying? And that's not fair. So you take that, and that's that religion and that church stuff, and you put it on you, and then now you're not dealing with the soul ties, you're not dealing with the healing, you're not dealing with you because you're trying to meet that standard. How's that fair to anybody? Heal. And I need to go down the thing because people are. We have Marilyn. She said yes. She's agreed. Oh, Siobhan Wallace. Hey, girl. That's my girl right there. Oh, my son is online. Jaron Washington. He says facts. I can hear him saying. What you know, boy? What you know? Then we have Marilyn. She said that's what I say I'm doing. doing me, I'm healing. That's good. We need to turn that statement and saying I'm doing me to it meaning I'm healing.
Yes.
I'm healing.
I'm healing. Not picking up the next one and bogging down on my mess. And then she says again, I'm guilty of the timeline. My sister, free yourself from the timeline because it creates so much stress. I appreciate your honesty because I am a victim of the timeline. And you're like, okay, if I don't have kids, well, somebody said I'm going to have another baby, but I'm 42. Now, if I'm 42, okay, so it'll take 2 years to get married.
So you start doing the math.
Yeah, you start doing okay.
Carry the Y, where's the P? So I don't know where pi is.
We gotta have a baby by the time I'm 45. But wait a minute, he'll be in kindergarten. I'm 50. Right. And then you put all this on you, and then God says, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
I'm outside of time.
Yeah, how about it?
So take your time." And because God is outside of time, He can catch all that up, and it's like He never missed a beat.
I think a lot of times with God, we completely forget about grace. Like I'm in my season of really studying grace. Because we quote scriptures, oh, God's grace is sufficient, God's grace is sufficient, oh, God's grace is over my sin, God's grace this, God's grace that. But in the same token, do you honestly know what grace is?
Yeah.
Can you actually allow God to give the gift of grace, because it's a gift, take that in, because it's a gift that He freely gives us. Can we allow the grace to do its job? No, because we're always putting stuff in a box, in a time frame. Grace is just allowing the time for us to do it, but it's in God's timing, not our own. And I believe sometimes if we would just stop jumbling it up, stop thinking what we think is right, stop putting the pressure and the stress and anxiety on us to get things right, and just allow God's supernatural gift of grace to kick in, we will be so much better. We truly will be so much better. So you need you need God's grace for your soul ties, for your process. You need God's grace for everything that you need. And then be kind to yourself. Be kind. My God, be kind to yourself.
Right. I just had a comment here, and maybe Donald or Steph can kind of comment on this, what she said. She says, yes, oh my God. I'm trying to read it in the yes, oh my God. That's how I used to be. I'm learning to wait on the will of God for my life. Let's deal with the weight, gentlemen. Let's talk about the weight. Because a lot of times we say wait, and people actually mean wait means doing nothing. That's not waiting.
That's good because I always tell people, I always like to inform people to know your worth. And as the Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. And I always say, this is sometimes what I tell some people. I said with the female sometimes, I know, it's like the man has to find you, but be in the place to be found.
How about it?
You know what I mean? Be in a place to be found. Because, it's easy for us as men, of course, to find that wife and to look. But you also, women, have to be in a place to be found. You have to be in a place of prayer. You have to be in a place of making yourself have that preparation period. Because as the Bible says, be anxious for nothing, but everything in prayer and supplication. So, we have to be able to be in the position of receiving what God is trying to bring to you. Because you can't, how Burger King used to have that saying, you can't have it your way. Right. So you got to be able to be in a place of waiting, be in a place to receive, be in a place to be found. If you acting this and that and acting complaints and all that, you're not being in that place to be received, for the man to receive you. So my thing is, it's good to wait. It's good to be in a place to receive. You can't just have it where you put it in the microwave 3 minutes, I'm going to have it. No, you got to go through that process. And, it's all about preparation. God is preparing you for that need. So,
I think that's key. That's key, the wait, the preparation. That's the wait. I think we need to make sure people understand that the wait equals preparation.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was so good what you said, Donald, because sometimes women, and I can only speak for our side, when they throw that scripture out, when a man follows the wife, be found. Be found doesn't mean that you sit and you just waiting. He's coming like your bus. He's coming, he's coming. That's why he's coming. No, that means work and get busy and preparate. Even in the spirit, you gotta have a prayer life. Right. How you praying for a godly man? And you're supposed to be the keeper of his heart, and you can't pray a cold away.
Come on now.
Yes. Like, come on. Like when you are found and God gives you that mate, that man, you're the keeper of his heart. You're the protector of his heart.
That's right.
And you have to have a prayer life.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have to be able. If he's not a praying man, we're going to pray him there, and we're going to get him there. Because some people are not strong in prayer, and I get it, but that's a whole nother forum. We're going to teach you how to pray. Yeah. But at some point, you got to be able to your spiritual life has to add up. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about religion. Yeah. I'm not talking about because you go on first Sunday and you wear your white stockings because it's August, and don't forget it's black and white come October. Now, I'm not talking about that. I'm sorry. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about because you can stand up in front of the church and say stuff real nice. That's religion. Yeah. I'm talking about down and dirty, behind closed doors. I'm on my face. My dad always says, when he calls me, he's like, when's the last time you had a snot bubble prayer? I'm going there right now. That's what we're talking about. Yeah. When you're laying naked before God, and I've even gotten to a point with God where I say, I know this is my problem, God, but I don't want to deal with it now. That's transparency.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
God, I'm good right here. I want to stay messy here.
That's good what you said. That's transparency. Here we go. We're going back to what Steph said. Accountability. Right. Mm-hmm. Being able to take action. And the thing is, sometimes when we're in that weight of preparation, in that process of trying to receive what God has for us, sometimes it's good to take accountability and say, okay, God, what is it with me that you need me to change in order for me to receive the blessings that you have for me? Mm-hmm. And it's all about what the scripture says. God gives grace to the humble. Grace, it's a gift. God gives grace to the humble. So I love what you said about the transparency, because I think when we're in that period of waiting and God is preparing us, it's good for us to look at ourselves too and understand that we're still a work in progress. God is preparing me to be the best that I can so God can bless me in the way that I feel as though He's blessing me. Mm-hmm. So I agree with that. That was good.
You have to remember with our process is never to be perfect.
Yes.
It's just to get better. Yeah. It's never to be perfect. Yes. We're not called to be perfect. Yeah. We're called to get better.
Yes, exactly.
He does the perfecting.
Yes, he does his job.
So take that pressure off.
Yes, take the pressure. Yeah. I'm flawed. I'm messed up. Yeah.
But I think that comes back down. I'm saying it again. Somebody need to walk me to my car. There you go. Because it comes down to leadership, teaching, and preaching religion.
Yeah. And get away from
and making people feel like they have to be perfect to do ministry. And that is not it. That is so far from what it is. Because what it ends up being is a contest of who's favorable that gets to the top first.
That's one of my blogs.
Y'all check out my blog.
Check out the blog.
So I need to catch up because Marilyn is going in. I appreciate you, girl.
I want to add something when you.
Go ahead.
You want to do that first? No. Okay. When you went back to the scripture of "He that finds a wife finds a good thing," and I think that we have to be in the process of becoming that good thing as a single. So we need to work on, all right, God, what are my attributes? Because what we do as singles, we sit and we make our list of all the stuff that we want the man to be, and then we fail sometimes at turning that around and looking at ourselves. Okay, well, what kind of wife do I need to be? Yeah. What do I need to prepare to be his helpmate? What are some of the things that where are my strengths and where are my weaknesses, so that I am aware of what that is, so I know fully what I'm bringing to the table to the guy. So when he comes, I'm not just like, what's his credit score? works for the kingdom. Since we're, all in Christendom here, this is what the goal should be. So I want my relationship to be a reflection of Christ's love for the church and that relationship. And I want it to be something that people can look forward to as an example of what healthy relationships look like. And I can't come in all busted and broken and he all strong in the Lord and I'm just like,
that's
And
true.
can I say something on a married woman's perspective for the singles? I've been married, we celebrated 14 years of marriage on Wednesday. Really? You ain't gonna clap?
That's my man.
We throw out Proverbs 31 so bad.
listen.
And let me tell you, as a married woman, I've been married for 14 years.
Amen.
I'm not that Proverbs 34 woman. I strive to get there. I strive to get better. Every day, every month, every year, there's always something that I have to work on as far as me is concerned. So the Proverbs 31 woman, I truly believe it's just a foundation for us. It's not perfection. So please, single ladies, don't use the scripture to think that's the foundation of every married woman
Say that again.
in being perfect.
Right.
Because
Say it
it's
again.
not.
One more time.
So
What did I just say?
For the one.
Proverbs 31 is not a foundation for you to be perfect. It is a foundation for you as a wife to strive to get better.
Come on.
Okay?
That's a good thing.
Because
I got an offering.
I'm taking the pressure off.
Sorry.
Let's take the pressure off.
Right.
And then for the married women, if you're newlywed or whatever, come on. The Bible is simply our foundation of how we should live and how we should do. It never once called us to be perfect. Ever. So take the pressure off. I'm that woman. I'm the wife and I'm the mom. Sometimes I don't feel like cooking. Go in the pantry and get you some oodles and noodles and we gonna call it a day. Okay? I'm not gonna cook a full-fledged 10-course meal every single day. Why? Because I work and we run a business.
Right.
Where do you expect me to cook ribs at all the time?
Right.
No, go in the pantry,
That's a really good point.
get you
I
some
appreciate
noodles.
that. I want to answer that because
And I set up boundaries.
yes.
Because I don't cook Fridays, I don't cook Saturdays.
So before we move forward, I have to set this standard. I have to get to these people.
Oh.
So I'm about to set this boundary for y'all. Boundary. First of all, Erica Whitehead is on the line.
Hey!
Absolutely one of our biggest supporters. We love you. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. Marilyn is just going in. So she says, that's good. Yes, Grace. Then she also says, yes, that's good. Being in a place to be found. So I truly agree. Thank you, Donald, for that. I was getting ready to say that wait equals preparation. I'm so glad we got that revelation today. That's so awesome. And then she says, yes, prayer. And then we have Anthony Anderson. Hi, thanks for joining.
Yo, man, what's up, bro?
Oh, you know him.
You know everybody. He said, yes, definitely being blessed right now. Feels like this is just for me. So thank you, Anthony. Amen for that. So boundaries off. Y'all can kiss him.
Okay. All right, say what your point was.
I think to add to that, because I think that what we do is we fantasize what marriage is going to look like. So we have to get, and we also have to make sure that we're not making marriage an idol as a single. That we're idolizing marriage and putting this impossible standard on what it's supposed to be like and how perfect it's going to be. Because again, we're letting go of perfection and we're striving towards being what God has called us to be. So we don't have to be bound by those fantasies and really like have some reality check. Like, okay, he may not have, but he got all these other qualities that are great attributes that are really going to complement who I am, and I can complement who he is.
So that's what they teach us, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if you because you grew up in church like me. We had to make the list. Sorry to cut you,
No, I'm sorry.
but we made a list of what our husband should be, fold it up and put it in our Bible, and God is going to actually do it. Yes, that was real. But this is what the church is teaching these people, and you wondering why so many marriages are failing. So many reasons why pastors are divorcing. So many reasons why there's so many singles. And I'm not saying singles are cursed, because it's not. Some people just called to be single, and that's okay.
Yeah.
However, if you desire to be married and you're wondering why you cannot get there, because the church has implemented and put this unrealistic expectation. Like, Nina's supposed to be in here in 6-inch heels, skinny jeans, hair laid, makeup beat,
Right.
frying chicken
Every day.
every day.
Listen.
No, I'm talking about, I can't stand those little posts on Facebook when they be like, and somebody clap back. They be like, do women cook like this no more? No, Negro, because I got a job. Who got 3 hours to cook in the kitchen? And I ain't saying nothing, because my mom used to burn like that when we were little. But it was a different time.
Different times, yeah.
I gotta work. And not only I got a full-time job, I got another job, I got a business to try to run, I'm trying to get other business off the ground, I got kids to raise, and you want me to come in and make turkey?
Like a whole turkey.
A whole turkey.
Whole turkey.
A whole turkey.
You gotta prepare a couple days before the
There you go.
Yeah.
No, what you gonna do is you gonna take Ling Ling's number and we gonna call and get Ling Ling to bring that fried rice. Tell him to steam the broccoli because we trying to be healthy.
But that's why it's important when you start getting to these relationships that you have conversations and you talk about these expectations or these things like, oh, I'm expecting dinner every day. Well, you in the wrong relationship, or we need to talk about some compromise in that, because ain't no way that both of us working these full-time jobs is gonna work that out. Like, come on now. So that's why communication is vital for every relationship. But we get so quick, especially in today's society, we so quick to jump in bed together. There's no conversation. And now you got the soul tie, but you ain't talked about nothing. You don't even know the Negro's last name. I almost said a different word.
And then you get to a place that sometimes, because I know I was, at one point, I was uncomfortable to have conversations. Because I feel like we already did too much. So because we did too much, I can't go back and expect that. Because I've allowed it before. So I've learned, don't allow it.
Right.
Wait a minute. Before we go there.
Right.
This is what we're talking about. Oh, you don't want to have this conversation? That's fine, boo-boo. I'm going to talk to you later.
Right.
Then a week later, why you ain't responding? Because you don't want to have that conversation. You have to be careful of getting with people that do not want to have tough conversations.
Right.
Including yourself.
Yeah.
People think that I'm this beast. I am so sometimes afraid to confront people about my expectations in private settings, in intimate relationships. Because I've always felt, dealing with low self-esteem growing up, well, if I ask him to do this, then he's not going to be with me.
Rejection.
That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's real.
You know, because I'm too tall, and I'm too fat, and I'm too black, and I'm too this, so I won't have that conversation. So then you look up your relationship, now you're 8 years in,
Right.
miserable.
Wow.
And I just want to remind people, all this has to do with cuffing season. So don't think that the conversation went left. No, all of this is all about cuffing season. This is how cuffing season starts.
Right.
Just like this, all the things that you've heard, all the things that were said, and we're not done yet. We still got another hour or so, maybe a little bit less. But I just wanted to let the viewers know, like, this is all has to do with cuffing season. This is all has to do with this time of year when you are considering, I need me a boo. I mean, I need to lay up, you know what I'm saying? I need that warm body, but then all of this comes with it. All of this, all of the feelings, all of the attachments, all of the depressions and things like that. All of this comes with cuffing season. So don't, like, I know this is like the thing for this time of year, but you gotta be aware of all of this that's happening. All of this does come with it. All of the things that were mentioned and said by each one of our panelists, that's all a part of cuffing season. So really think hard. Really consider the repercussions and the consequences of you getting cuffed up for a few months. A few months. Quick satisfaction has long-term results.
Yes. Very true.
And then
Say
you
that
find
again.
then you
Quick
find
term. Quick satisfaction has long-term results.
Yeah.
Yes.
and you find yourself every cuffing season trying to get cuffed because you're not you can't be consistent
Yeah.
because you jumped in something last October. And then next October you try to jump into something else because you let it go.
Right.
So what's it in March?
Yeah.
You let it go around Easter because you want to get your Easter shoes first.
Right.
So you let it go, and then now you find yourself having another audition when you're not having these people
Wow.
audition right.
Auditions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we got to get to a point where if you're going to start accepting applications,
Wow.
make sure you put on your application, and your resume should speak life.
Yes. I like that.
So there's a time when I just left my last relationship. I can't go into another relationship because my resume not tight. Because I'm still feeling some type of way about him. I'm still feeling some type of way about what he said. I'm still feeling some type of way. So I can't go into a new because I'm still feeling some type of way.
Right.
So I got to go back to the school of hard knocks and get myself right so I can update my resume.
Right.
Because I can't. And then that's what Donald said about holding somebody else accountable what somebody else did. Because your resume ain't tight.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not clear.
And that wouldn't be fair to the person you're trying to get.
It's
involved
absolutely not fair. And that's how you compound
Yeah.
hurt on top of
That's
hurt
right.
on top of hurt.
That's right.
Because now all of a sudden you done dished out all this mess. I done dished all this out on Donald.
Yeah.
And he wondering what he done did. Now he's looking for counseling.
Yeah.
Because he like, I don't know what I did.
No.
I was innocent, but maybe something's wrong with me.
Right.
So now I'm in he and then he like, homie, let me talk to you. Now I don't feel like being bothered. Now he hurt. Then he go home. Then he go home and now she hurt.
Yeah.
Then she calling her.
Right.
And then everybody's a big mess.
Right.
Yeah.
And we all in the chat trying to figure out what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it happens.
That's true.
And it's contagious. I remember there used to be this AIDS campaign back when we were growing up when AIDS was real popular. The whole, like, don't sneeze on me because you're going to catch AIDS. How it used to be this one red person and had a partner and had a partner. Then they had a partner and they had a partner.
Oh, wow.
But that's exactly how that ties.
Yeah.
Yo, yeah, let me jump in right there. But before I say what I want, Frank the Enforcer, he's known as the Enforcer on Facebook, but on Instagram, he on Frank that I saw is one of my homies. He said that is what he thinks is the result of a person not knowing what they want in a partner. Very true.
Yes.
Very, very, very true. Yeah, I mean that resume as Dee spoke of, you know what I mean? That resume has to say, hey, look, I'm looking for A, B, C, D, and E. You know what I mean? And if you not meeting A, B, C, and D, and E, maybe I can compromise on E. But you definitely got to be at A, B, and C, and D.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? E we can let slide. We can work on E, but you know what I mean? Never compromise, what you want. If you know what you're looking for in a partner, that's exactly what you're looking for. You're going to lower your standard.
Yeah.
You can make compromise because, like I said, nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Right.
But I think that's what Nicole, we were going to touch on today about
Yeah.
the negotiables and the.
Oh yeah.
So it's an amazing doorway to that.
Yeah.
But just to piggyback on what you're saying,
Right.
like we women, I'm talking to the ladies, and men too. I can't put in my notebook he gotta be 6'2".
Listen.
What if he has all the attributes and he's 5'8"?
Wait a minute, I'm about to call you out on it.
Go ahead.
I'm about to call you out. So that post you put up about the dude that was 6'10".
Hey, he's talking about the guy. First of all, stay off my Facebook. Second of all, I just want one of those. Because he was like 6'10", 400 pounds, all muscle. Like, he's a jungle jet. Like, we don't want a jungle jet.
It's part of the lion seed. Giants do fall.
Right.
No, but go ahead, Nicole, with the negotiable and...
Yeah, so that ties. Oh, sorry.
Wait. Give me
I'm
1
sorry.
second. Before you jump into the negotiables and non-negotiables, what a non-negotiable should be is, and I know this is taboo, sex before marriage. I'm telling you, this is where all this cuffing stuff coming from. When you give yourself up, you are putting yourself at risk for all of these things. I mean, intercourse, entering the course. I'm telling you, like, no, this is real because we don't talk about this enough.
Right.
We don't.
Men especially.
Yeah, we don't talk. That's why I'm talking about it.
Sorry.
Because it goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? When we lay down with a woman now lay with us. Like the Bible says, and the two became one.
Yes.
The two becomes one. So whatever she's dealing with, whatever you deal with, y'all become one. So, and that's for every person that you lay down with during this cuffing season. Because it's only for 3 months or, you know, whatever the time frame may be. Every time you lay down with this person, you're receiving what they have in them. So you don't, like I said, you don't know how many partners that the other person done had. So you may be sleeping with 20 people all at one time. And then you wondering why you going goo goo gaga, cuckoo for cocoa puffs. Why you having, like I said, the point was brought up earlier, why you having suicidal thoughts, why you changing your diet, because some person she done laid down with, he do coke, or she do coke, or they done been with a couple other dudes and women, and you wondering about all of a sudden you got to urge the one to try something new.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to try to be with another dude, and you ain't never thought about nothing like that, but because that person done laid down with the same sex, now you having a homosexual or lesbian thoughts, like, and look, this ain't now somebody gonna say this and be like, oh, this is hate speech. No, it's not. It's not hate speech. This is real talk. Because, like I said, every time you lay down, you're receiving into them. The Bible says in Corinthians, what's the scripture, bro? It's in Corinthians. Every time it talks about every time you lay down with a person, you receive what they have. I'm gonna get it. But I said it the last time. But anyway, there's biblical evidence that every time you lay down with somebody, you're receiving what they got. Whatever things that they're dealing with, you're putting it into yourself. And I mean, like I said, and then you wonder why you have these crazy thoughts, and you all of a sudden you straightforward thinking, then you all confused and jarbled, and you messed up. This stuff is real, man. Soul ties are real. This stuff is real. I'm cuffing season, soul ties. This is real. This is evident, and this is relevant for today. I know that sex is big and sex is everything and it sells, but I'm telling you, every time you lay down with a person, you don't know what you're receiving. So please be accountable to yourself. Love yourself enough to say, no, I'm good. I'm good. Look, I'm good.
And you don't need that long sustained sex. The 2 seconds is enough to get. Let y'all know now. Get that out your mind.
I think they need to understand that.
Every time you enter the course, that's it.
Sex
Enter the course.
Sex is something that was created by God for a covenant for marriage.
Yes.
So when you two becomes the one, you actually give the enemy legal permission to put on you whatever him or her is carrying. So I think you need, and that's for the ones that's like, let's take it spiritual. Let's you want to be spiritual. You actually give legal permission for the enemy to put on whatever. And that's why you're depressed. And don't know why. And anxiety. And don't know why. And that's just the surface. I'm talking about other deep, dark issues. That's why you're hearing voices. That's why you're schizophrenic. Because now you have that inside you, and now you got to start dealing with it. And if you don't deal with it, it'll just compound, and just become a bumbling mess. Because eventually it'll just fill all the way up until it has nowhere else to go. Until you literally shiver in somebody's corner, not knowing what happened. We've all had those moments in life, making mistakes, and like, how did I get here? We've all had that moment. I refer to bills. You ain't paid your T-Mobile bill this month. Put that to the side. Then in 90 days, you wonder how you got a $1,000 bill. How did I get here? And that's how it happens in the spirit. It just starts building up, and now you call and trying to get a payment arrangement. To keep your phone on and don't know how you got a $1,000 bill. And that's exactly what's happening in the spirit to you. So I think, I understand what the world is selling. That's my religious talk again. I understand what we see in our face every day. And it makes it difficult because porn now is more acceptable. I can go, it's so embarrassing. I can go on my timeline and come across porn on my Facebook.
Yeah.
And I be at my room work like, ooh, that ain't me. It's just in my timeline. You know? So it's just so open. So why not be open about the things that'll heal us? If we're so open about all the things that can bind us, why aren't we open about the stuff that can heal us, that can free us, so we can stay free, so we can get into healthy partnerships and relationships and marriages if that is your goal. So we can teach our children to be healthy. Because here's the thing about cuffing season, and you cuff the wrong one, your children do pay for your mistakes.
Yep.
Yes.
It becomes generational.
Forever.
Yeah. Glad you said that. Yep.
There is times that I had to hug my children and apologize because I made mistakes that affected them. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to go through this. Mommy made a mistake.
Yeah. That's good.
And what about the even down to the abuse factor? You pull somebody in your home that ain't supposed to be there because you can't be by yourself. That's why I don't shack. No. No. Because you can't be in my home. And then all of a sudden now they're touching your daughter. And now they're touching boys too now. More so. Now you got to get your daughter, your child free from sexual molestation because you couldn't stay uncuffed. You gotta have wisdom. You gotta know. I don't bring nobody to my door. I just don't. You can't. We got people online. And no compromise.
It's really that serious.
It's really that serious, and it's sad because then here we go in the church. You show up, you crying because you're going through something, and then you go to the altar, they lay hands on you, spin you around, and send you out the door, and now you healed. No, I'm not healed. It's the start of being healed. I acknowledge. Thank you, Pastor, for laying your hands on me. However, now you got to do the work. Now you got to get them out. Now you got to clean up. Now you got to cry. Now you got to go through a purging process. And it hurts. It tremendously hurts. But on the other side of that, it is so much freedom. I have a daughter that ain't never. If somebody yells above a certain octave, she is petrified. Because I never allowed it in my home. Because I allowed it in my home with my son. And I got to a point when he was like maybe 12 or 13. I'm like, we going into mental health, and he's angry. Why is he so angry? Because, Mom, I seen this, that, and the third. Or he didn't tell me, the therapist. Let me talk to you this right out. What I do? This is what we're getting out of him. He's angry because of this. I'm like, at 5 years old? He's seen this at 6 years old? Because of bad decisions. And that, I mean, we laugh at cuffing season, and majority of us here have children, and we have to understand that every decision that we make affects our offspring. Whether it's directly or indirectly.
That's right. Yeah.
My son, thank God, is 21 now, but he still deal with, sometimes he reach back. And I'll be like, Jay, it's not that deep. But that's the seed I allowed to be planted at 5 years old. Because Mom wanted to get cuffed. Because I put the timeline on me. At that particular time, I was 24. So I put the 23, I would put the timeline on me. So I have to be married. So I'm just going to jump. And God can scream that if the sign couldn't get any bigger, I must have was stupid. Because everything and everybody was saying no. But I love him. And I didn't want to be by myself. Because I got tired. And here's the thing. And I got tired of going to family meetings without a mate. And I still was going without one.
Wow.
So we got to get to a place where we have to not only be responsible of what we do during the season, but we also got to be responsible because if you can't do it for yourself, do it for your children. Do it for your children that's not even here yet.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're strapped with curses and they weren't even on this earth yet.
Because things will carry through the bloodline.
It'll carry through the bloodline. And then you sit here and you trying to get free and you messed up. You messed up. So I just, like Marilyn said, wow, we're being so real. Thank you, Marilyn, for chiming in. But we gotta be real because that's how you get free.
Yeah.
That's how you walk. We cakewalk so often in the church. Can't stand it. Don't waste my gas coming to church if we're not gonna really do this thing for real.
Yeah.
People are literally dying.
Yeah. Every day.
Every day. Suicide. Dying from broken parts. It is a scientific fact that you can die from a broken heart.
Yeah.
Dying. But we want to play church. Because if the tune is right, who gonna dance? I can't. Look, I'm going to start throwing tomatoes.
Can I add it?
Yes.
I just want to say that that was great.
Thank you.
But I want to add to that don't let shame keep you from coming to God.
Yes.
Yes. Because shame is a tool that the enemy uses to keep us bound.
Mm-hmm.
And even especially in church culture, there's like a hierarchy sometimes that they put on different sins. And you, if someone makes a call for one thing, then you're like, well, I can't go up for that because then they're going to know.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you can go to God on your own. There is nothing that you can do or have done in your past that God will shame you for. That He will not, is not easy to forgive you for. There's nothing that you've done that's too freaky. There's nothing that you've done that's too nasty or dirty. Go to God about it. Ask for forgiveness. He is faithful to forgive you and help you heal. So I just wanted to drive that home. Like, don't let shame keep you bound. Because we get so afraid sometimes of just being honest and being vulnerable. And that's why you're afraid, is because sometimes it's attached to shame.
Yeah.
So just free yourself from that
Stefan, if you
shame.
can address Instagram, because he going in.
Yeah.
That writing's too small.
Frank chimed in again. He said because a lot of people don't deal with it because they have boxed it up, set it aside bad, forgot about it, or they just don't know how to deal with it. And that's very true. A lot of people don't know how to deal with it. But if you're listening to some of the things that we're saying, we're giving you keys and instructions on how to get over it. One of the things that I love about the ministry that we have is that we are real and relevant. We want to talk. The reason why I had to drive, the sex point in, because this is really what Cuffin season is about. Like for real.
Yeah.
I mean, we talking about soul ties and all that, but it all comes down to the most important part of it is the sex. I mean, it was already said in the beginning, you can form a soul tie multiple ways, but sex is the more common way to do it. So this is why I choose to, I had to bring that point in because all this will be for nothing if we didn't address sex. Because like I said, cuffing season is mainly about sex. When I say laid up, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say laid up. You want in a warm body, whether you on top of the body or on the bottom of the body. It's a warm body.
Yeah, right.
I told you it was real, guys. I told you. We get real up in here, guys. We get real in here, man. And as you can see from what the people say, this is why we do what we do, because this is not taught in your average church.
Right.
You know what I mean? And what we strive to do is not have church as usual. We do ministry. We do kingdom work. And this is kingdom work, talking about real issues that's going to affect real people. People need to hear what we have to say. People need to know that God will still love them if they have sex a few minutes from now. After they turn this live off and go lay up with the couple, that God still loves you. And He's still waiting to forgive you and free you. And He will give you the power, He will give you the and strength to walk away when you need to walk away.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I've been there, all of us have been there. All of us have been there. We've been cuffed up, we done had that person laid up and booed up, and at one point in time it was like, alright, I gotta get away from this. Like, this ain't right. This ain't for me. Like, this person keeps, it's crazy. Like, you can get so deep and so wonderful in it, or you can get so bound by it that you can know, like, say, I'm gonna use this for example, say if they went away for a while or they out of town because your soul is tied up to them, you will know when they're back in town.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will know
Yeah.
when they're back in town.
You feel it.
You can feel it.
You feel it.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because you feel it, you'll pick up the phone and say, yo, where you at? Oh yeah, I just got back in town. Yo, let's link up. Netflix and chill. I don't know if they still say that
Disney
today.
Plus and chill.
Disney Plus. But you know what I mean, this is real and relevant, and this is why we do what we do, because you know there are people that want to talk, and there are people that are afraid to talk, but they'll look at these lives and say, you know what, that's what I've been wanting to say, that's what I've been going through. They may not address it to us, but you know they're looking at it, and this is the reason why we pray and why we go before the Lord, because we gotta address stuff. You know what I mean, so people can get free, so they can get help, and this is what we're about. This is what relationship matters. All of us make up relationship matters. We may be the co-founders, but we all make it up. This is the squad right here. I mean, if you was a part of our group chat, you'll see it. But no, this is who we are. This is what we strive to be. This is what we stand on. We stand on transparency. We stand on real. We stand on biblical truth. We stand on foundation. We stand on people getting set free and delivered.
Yes.
And this is our concentration. This is what we believe that God has commissioned us to do. Like I said, leave your donations.
I just want to tell you about that freedom piece. Freedom is just, you don't get free and that's it. Nicole taught me something so amazing a few months ago. Freedom is like an ocean, she said. So go ahead, explain that.
Oh, well, I mean, it's just, when you think about an ocean, you know that it's vast and deep, and that's the way freedom is. So you might start at the coastline, and you start walking into it, and you're like, oh, this water feels kind of nice. But the more you keep walking in it, the deeper you go, and the more you discover that there's so much more that you didn't even see when you were back at the coastline. So just keep going deeper and deeper into it. So every time you get to another level of, you get into levels of it. So just like you start at the shallow end, you start going in deeper into your freedom. And that's just, I think it's just amazing to know that God, just because God is infinite, there's no limit on what that freedom can be. There's no limit on the things that are of God. There aren't limits on them because He is limitless. So we have to begin to wrap our minds around that as best we can, even when it comes to us having healing and being free. So just as simple as that, freedom is an ocean. So the more you jump in, the more you delve into it, the better and greater it is.
Right. That's so good. Because sometimes we think, I'm free, and that's it. Because you're like, I'm free.
You're like,
okay,
I'm free. I'm free.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's amazing. I'm sorry, I can't talk. It is an amazing feeling when you begin to explore. It's like our Bohemian friend right here. When he go back home and the Bahama waters, and he's at the coast, and you can see the blue, right? Because you sent me a video one time, and you could, at the coastline, it's the blue water right here. But then as he stepped out, there were more dimensions to the water.
And Jesus. I give you Emmanuel.
He began to step out in the water. I could see the levels changing in different dimensions and more color being added, and that's freedom.
Yeah.
That's freedom. And
I just want to know, was Peter?
Alright, so we're teetering almost being done, so I really want to get into the non-negotiables, as well as I am going to plug in just for a quick second. Relationship Matters Ministries. We're on all social sites, Facebook, Instagram, as you can tell. We're on Linked, we're on Twitter, and we're on Pinterest. So follow us. We're actually doing Allison's Treasure Box. It's a toy drive for children without biological parents. This is near and dear to our hearts. So If you have a toy and you want to donate it, let us know, or you can drop it off at our official drop-off location. It's International Christian High School. It's 5500 Table Road. Look for the box. It's right there in the front.
Yes.
Drop the toys off there. If you don't feel like shopping, you can send monetary gifts via Cash App, via the website, and all that money will go towards this toy drive. Because of the amount that has been given so far, we want to say thank you guys. So we are actually extending, we're doing dinner, a holiday dinner for the people. So I already picked up some stuff, because I'm not late in ever doing anything. I have to prepare. So I'm so excited. So we actually picked up, we have turkey now available. We have some sides, some other stuff. So please help us to be a blessing to a family in need this holiday season. We have 30 days left for the toy drive, so we're just asking you guys to please take a moment, even if it's $5. Walmart has cheap toys. If it's $5 you want to donate, if it's a $5 toy, anything matters. Everything matters to us, and it definitely matters to this family. Check out our next blog will probably be coming up in December, maybe January. I'm just trying to see because December's packed. We're doing a lot. We're doing a lot for the community. We're out there tomorrow at the Elmwood Zoo. We're giving out our services. We're helping people. So Relationship Matters Ministry. We are a DITA ministry. We're outreach. So hit us up. Follow us anywhere. Check out the website. We have up and running blogs. It's called Inspirational Nuggets that I personally write. Just to give you that encouragement that you need, maybe on a daily basis or maybe on a weekly basis, but whatever. We do it. So please support the ministry as a whole. Alice's treasure box, I cannot emphasize that enough. Please, we will be releasing official partnerships out in December, so I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But we're on the move. We're doing a lot of great things, so I'm definitely will be putting that out there. So in order to stay in the know, you have to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and definitely the website. Okay, let's go back to the non-negotiables and the negotiables when it comes to your relationship.
Yes. Okay. So, in talking about forming healthy relationships and healthy boundaries, one thing that helps when you're writing your resume is to have your list of things that are non-negotiables for you. So those are things that you are not going to bend on. Like, this is it. If you don't meet this, then sorry, move on to the next. And then versus what is a preference. And preferences are things that are negotiable and things that, I would prefer this, but I don't have to have this. Like height. It's funny because I was, just an example. So I was talking to a group of girls and they were like, oh, well, would you ever be with a short guy? And I was like, listen, if he is confident, I don't have no problem with no short nigga. He can look up and adore me. I know that's right. But you have to be able to spin around like that because, like you said earlier, he might have everything else. And if he just happens to be a little bit on the height deficient side, then you're like, no, you're missing out on your blessing because you can't get past the fact that he's looking up to you. But go ahead and let him look up. So, what are some of the non-negotiables that you guys have that
Let's
we
get
can
from
share?
down.
Hold on, y'all gotta give me a minute.
I know back in my singleness,
Hold up.
I used to have this list. I'm gonna tell you, this list, my husband ain't meet not one criteria did he meet.
Wow.
He met the revised list that I had when I was fighting. He met the redacted. No, let me tell you, my list was so revised. I was so broken, busted, and disgusted. I got tired of dealing with the same dark people. I just wanted to stop. I wanted to be free. Girl, look, my into the things that you have for me.
There you go.
Then I did another list after I got married. I said, okay, now I'm gonna do another list. So I did another list, and the list ended up being he had to be trustworthy, integral.
Right.
He had to be a believer.
Yes.
I wanted him to be a leader because I got tired of leading.
Right.
I wanted him to be able to take care of the children. I wanted this and this. And he fulfilled everything that I put
That's awesome.
in, but it wasn't materialistic
Yeah.
in the vain stuff that
Right.
you see. Because I didn't date dark men. Dark men, what? Like, what? And then he came like, I'm like, first of all, I was so captivated by his smile.
Oh.
I really was. It was his smile that completely was like, oh, he has beautiful teeth. But that was my list. My revision was man of God, and then I had to revise it again. Like, okay, then now this is what I want, and God gave me exactly what I needed. It was nothing that I wanted because everything that I wanted was superficial and would have never lasted.
Yeah.
Because believe me, I had it.
Right.
I had everything.
Right.
Yeah.
They were bums. Excuse me. I know we cool now, guys, but y'all bums for me. So that was my list.
That's good.
I left it like that, but man, God was on the top of my list. I know God was like, "Where's about time?"
I mean, sometimes it takes us to go through.
Yeah.
Go through some stuff
Right.
to make a realistic list. I mean, I made that list and put it in my Bible. Like, he was just gonna ride up on that horse. Like, and that's just not how it works. That's not reality. People go through stuff. People do things, and I'm a true believer that God. Some of my beliefs when it comes to mates is differ probably from all of y'all that's sitting on this forum.
Yeah, 6'9", 400. We know.
No. First of all, I ain't feeding all that man. But those turkeys. But I don't know. Somebody else go.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to
Because you have to really soul search for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think
It's
it's
thought provoking.
right, and I think when you actually start making the list, once you've made it, you can see where you are.
Yeah.
Because it shows you, okay, am I a little bit more materialistic than I
Mhm.
thought? Because what I'm really looking at, what I have listed as non-negotiables are actually preferences.
Mm-hmm.
And it helps you to better give self-assessment for what it is that you think you want and what you think you need, and then take your list to prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you went to prayer with God about it, and then you only had one thing on your list, and then He helped you fill out
Yeah.
the list.
We fill it out.
I think it's a thing of quality or quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what you really want.
Yeah,
something
you want a
with
person
quality.
of quality.
So, Steph, did you have a list?
I did.
It wasn't me, was it?
No.
Okay. It wasn't me either.
Yeah. So
But hey! But look, you got what you get. You got what you get.
I have no complaints.
I know that's right.
There it is.
None. But I did. I was in my preference. My preference was dark skin, big.
I like the big
He like
boy.
fluffy.
He like the big boy.
Fluffy. Let's add
Oh,
fluffy.
That was the word taught to me by my sister over here.
Fluffy.
Fluffy. So they had to be like darker skin, fluffy. And that was really it for me.
I don't
We
think.
don't have all the the list of qualifiers. I mean, I guess as I grew up, it was like, okay, all right, I need somebody that's gonna have my back.
Yeah.
Somebody that's gonna be there for me when I'm down. Somebody that can talk to me and speak life to me when I'm not feeling all the way good, or what I mean. Somebody that can kick me in my butt and like, look, yo, nigga, get up. Like, yo, you've been down there too long. Get up. Let's go. So, of course, as I matured and grew up, it kind of like expanded a little bit more, except for the superficial, just the outside. It was like, all right, you know what? I really need somebody that's gonna ride with me, somebody that's gonna pray for me and pray with me. So, so things changed as I started to mature.
I think that's real key what he said, as you grow older, because I know when I was in my 20s and, you know, college days and everything.
You
My
ain't
mom.
Now they won't for it.
Yo. I'm sorry, we doing that though? Okay. But I think when I was, you know, in my younger stage, my preference, my mom would attest to this. When I used to bring a female around my mom, she was always light skinned. She was always had the long hair, the hazel eyes, and I think as men, this is why I think we always like to have that eye candy on our arm.
Yes.
You know, we always like to have that on our arm. But I believe as though, as Steph just said, as we go older, especially in the spiritual aspect of it, we want a woman that's willing to lay and prostrate with us and pray with us and to encourage us. Because even in our infinite stage, like as I was younger, I always wanted somebody that I can honestly say I can grow with.
Mm-hmm.
But as I've grown older, now I can honestly say that because of the fact that I'm more wiser now in my past now that I am in my future, preparing for my future. But me preferencing, man, I love a woman honestly who's proactive. I mean, to me that's a big preference of mine. Like it doesn't always have to be me that will say I'm thinking of you. You know, sometimes it can come from her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't always have to be the one to initiate things, but the aspect of her taking the initiative to reach out to me, I think plays a factor in the attachment aspect of it, like the mentally aspect of it. Because I mean, we always want somebody that make us feel good for ourselves. We don't always want to feel as though we the only one putting in 100. But we also want that feedback from that other individual that we're dealing with. So I think preference for me, if you're proactive, you keep yourself up, you know, you love God, you know, hey, we on the home stretch. So
that's your non-negotiable.
That's your non-negotiable.
Yeah, that's a non-negotiable.
But hazel eyes is the ghost of
Hey! Now that I'm older, times have changed. I'm totally different now.
Times get hard.
That's all right, yo.
girl, you better believe that.
You didn't know if my hair was hers.
I think mine non-negotiable is ambition. I think I need somebody that's always moving forward. Not getting content with just their 9 to 5, but becoming an innovator. Thinking of the next, trying to think of the next new thing. Doesn't necessarily have to make us money, but just moving forward in life. Because I'm an individual. I can't get stuck. I gotta keep. Once this is, I go to the next, and I go to the the next thing. It just didn't work out. It's fine. Get up and go to the next. And also, what Donald said was key. Just taking the initiative to reach out. I literally sit and wait.
Yeah, see?
And see how long it takes you to text me.
Yeah.
I set my watch and be like, okay, it's noon.
Yo, it gets like that. It's real.
But I
That's
think
real.
because we single.
That's real.
So it's
That's
like
real. Yeah. You be like
2 days.
exactly. And don't let it be on Messenger when you see that they read your message. So I think like I don't need a good morning text because I'm not like that. Like I got the meme that says get that good morning. I don't need the good morning.
Yeah.
I need it because we're an adult. So sometimes that good morning you wake up out of bed, you gotta go and you get your day started. But in the course of your day, if it's just a hey, thinking of you, hey, how you doing? Or I love the how's your day going text.
Yeah. Because it's not all about that person.
Yeah, because it's not all about they want to hear about what's going on.
They'll put their stuff aside to ask about your day.
Right.
So that's definitely.
So y'all looking for somebody that's proactive,
Not self-centered.
Not self-centered, not selfish. Caring, because it takes a caring person to say, how's your day going?
It
And
does say
actually
that.
want to
Yeah.
listen.
It does state that.
Those are good.
Yeah. I mean, my.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
Well, you know what? I'm just be. I'm
forming down.
I'm just. You know what? I'm just gonna be. I'm gonna be transparent with y'all
Sorry, this gotta go through the
because
squad.
I know
That's right.
we less on time, but honestly, y'all, let's be 100. Shouldn't that automatically be in our system to do?
It
Yeah,
should.
it should.
You know what I
But
mean?
it isn't.
But it
But
is
why? But why is that?
because we live in a society today that's selfish and self-centered.
It's
We
all
live
about
in a
me,
society
me.
today is
Me Too movement.
yeah about it's me. It's all about me. I don't have to do anything. We live in a society where they glorify being independent to a fault.
Right.
Ladies, it is okay to be dependent. There's healthy dependency, and you can still be independent in the process. You gotta find your balance. But we are so quick as women, single women, to say, I don't need no man. Hey girl, I need my man.
Wow.
Right.
We need them. We are so quick, especially in our race, to say we don't need a black man. I need all our black men. In generalized. Because not only are they black, they're strong, they're healthy, they're geniuses, they're creators. And we push them to the side as if they're nothing. And you wondering why there's so many women that's women. Because we created a society where everything is selfish and self-centered, and everything is about me, and unhealthy independency. And God forbid, if one of my girlfriends say, "Oh, I need my man," now we gonna hang her at the stake. Because how dare you say you need a man?
I need mine. I can't pay my rent.
So it's just like, I think, Donald, that's the issue. I think that when it comes to relationships of all kinds, you gotta make sure she's in a healthy circle. Make sure he's in a healthy circle. And if you find out he has no friends, you got to figure out why.
Ooh.
That's a good.
Why you don't have nobody?
Oh, red
Wow.
flags.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Or your circle, everybody out in the club.
You don't fool with none of your family.
Why your mama really don't like you?
Oh.
Right. Because if your mama don't like you, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a huge problem.
So we gotta investigate before we start getting cuffed, because it's still got to do with cuffing season. We gotta figure out, because there's a saying, and y'all probably can get it, especially you, Steph. If you show me your friends, I'll tell you where you're going. And I'm showing you my friends, and I know where I'm going. And I'm not saying your friends are perfect, because none of us are perfect.
Right.
And we have our stats, and we have our disagreements, but they're in healthy manner. We have times where in our group chat, somebody will put it on ignore. I'm out, y'all. We already know when they close the door for a day or two or whatever. And then we make fun and start tagging them like, come back, come back. But then you get that, I always do the peak emoji when I decide to come back. Like,
Not the SpongeBob.
But
I'm head out.
But you definitely, in order to be in a place in cuffing season, you have to be in a place where you have a group of friends and a group that's in your circle that's supporting you and doing so when you go off course, they can kind of, but it's still in the same token, you still have to run your own race at your own pace. And that's when the relationship with God is important.
That's the first accountability.
That is your first, yeah, absolutely, your first accountability. And far as, being single and our preferences or whatever in that aspect, God will begin to shake that up, and the Bible says He'll give us the desires of our heart. And then sometimes we'll figure out that desire that was in our heart really wasn't that desire. We have a comment. You could have read it. Oh, from Erica. She's actually one of our top fans. Oh, she shot me out. Hey, man, you're a top fan. No longer,
I'm still up there. God is God of order.
You have the wrong mindset if you think you don't need a man. God said it is not good for a man to be alone. A lot of people have picked that up in the world belief system. I think that's so good.
That's good.
You do have the wrong mindset if you think you don't need a man. And there are seasons when you do have to be by yourself.
Yes.
And that is okay.
Yes.
But we have to get out of this practice as single women, and I can speak for women, that we quick to toss a man to the wayside because we flexing our independency. Shut up. Because when you're flexing that unhealthy independency, I'm not talking about because I'm independent, but it's a healthy independent. When you're flexing an unhealthy independency, there's some type of unforgiveness and bitterness inside of you. Find it. Hold yourself accountable. Go to God so you can fix it, so you don't bleed on everybody else around you and makes them feel like, because they are healthy dependent on someone else, that there's something wrong with them. The voice of somebody wrong speaks so much louder than someone that's right.
That's right.
So, I'm done. I'll get my offering in again. So, we are actually 4 minutes away before we have to wrap up. It was so much fun.
It is. We always have fun. We have 4 minutes left, so if anybody have any last minute questions or anything, throw that out there really quick. Again, we're Relationship Matters Ministries. Thank you guys for following us and tuning in. It's always good to see when people join us and then actually communicate with us, because we love that. We don't ever want to feel like we're just talking to ourselves. We do that enough. But thank you. You can reach us on all social media sites. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all under the name of Relationship Matters Ministries. And you can go to our website for events, information, blogs, donations. You can learn more about us as a panelist, as an individual on the website. So you go to the website at relationshipmattersministries.com. If you're ever in need of prayer or you want to talk or chit-chat, you can always email us at lclose@relationshipmattersministries.com. If you want us, Relationship Matters Ministries, to actually come to you, me and my husband, we do our own individual and as a couple ministry. You can always reach us and contact us via the website, or you can contact our number is 484-272-5650. That's the business number. You can contact us. If you personally know us, you know how to reach us. If you're looking to book us, the panel, or just me and myself and husband, whatever, you can email project manager at relationshipmattersministries.com. We're always willing to come and help. We do have a few partnerships that we go out to now monthly, and we teach the Word of God. So book us if you want, but make sure it's in enough time because our schedule is pretty full.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what you're saying, we have a lot of exciting things coming in 2020. Some things that's going to actually become a routine, so you'll see us more often online and different things like that. So stay tuned for the new posting. Make sure you subscribe to the website, relationshipmattersministry.com. At the bottom there, you can put your email in so you can stay in the know. Please, if you want anybody from the panel to come out to where you are, the church, no event is too small, no venue is too large. We accommodate it all. Again, it's project manager at relationshipmattersministry.com. So we're done.
All right, yo. Huge shout out to Frank. Like Frank took over. He took over Instagram. Like he was very active. The thing about Frank was, I talked to him maybe 2 weeks before the the forum, and he was like, "Yo, I want to be a part of the conversation." So I said, "Oh, all right, I'll hit you up." And he was very much alive and a part of the conversation.
Thanks, Frank.
And he was mad because it was shut down. He actually commented. He was like, "No."
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I'm quite sure I'll be hearing from him more because I think we said a lot of things that kind of hit him, and he, like I said, he was very active in a part of the conversation. So this is what we do.
This is what we do.
This is what we do.
We do. We thank you for Donald coming by. It's definitely not the last time that you guys see him on the forum. We just, you're an amazing asset to the ministry, to Relationship Matters, to all of us as a whole here. You great insight today. Thank you for being transparent and everything. We got one more forum, but there is an all-male forum coming up in January that Donald and Stefan and Donald will be taking that up with a few other men guests. So I'm excited about what Relationship Matters Ministry is doing and the people that we're reaching. Frank says he's still around, bro. He got on Instagram and went to Facebook. I see Frank. That's what's up. But unfortunately, we're going to have to go because the technology is going to cut off on us.
One more thing, we will be posting a prayer again, as well as non-negotiables and negotiables, as well as
Some tips to help
some
singles
tips
in their single season.
So and
to survive it.
yeah, so that's actually probably will be going on the website because it's a lot of content. So we'll put that on the website, and then you're more than welcome to share it from there.
It can go on social platforms.
Okay, well then I'll let her handle that. But as far as the website, it will definitely go on the website as well as social media. So stay in the know. We're on the go. We're over time. So I just want to say thank you guys again. You guys are so awesome. If you need prayer, whatever you need, we're here for you.
Something to say. I can see it.
No, I just wanted to mess with Donald on the way out. Y'all know how the King of Zamunda was introduced. That's the way we gonna run it out. We got rose petals.
You gotta get that after music.